All right. Okay, we're live. Awesome. All right, guys, welcome back to another IOHL podcast. We're now calling it the Drunken podcast because me and Zen are usually drunk, and then everyone else is usually not. We have a special guest. We were supposed to have a couple special guests, but they either could not figure out how to work a computer or some other nonsense. But we'll introduce him in a second. But first, I am proud to present. Sorry, the Drunken Podcast is now sponsored by IOHL.net T-shirts. That's right, boys. For a limited time offer or availability, I don't know, maybe it's available forever. I don't know how long you guys are doing this shit for. You can buy an IOHL shirt and you can get a custom name and number on it for an extra $5. Please contact Tank for more details. Zendon, I do have one criticism about this.
Go for it.
When you have contact Tank, there's no numbers after their name. So there's just some random dude out there getting messages about IOHL.net shirts. Named Tank.
That would be awesome.
And he probably
if there's no one with that gamer tag, I'm going to make it right now.
I guarantee there's someone with that gamer tag. That's why Tank has numbers in front of his. But yeah. So basically, holy shit. All right, and also we're not actually sponsored by them. But we do have another sponsor. This one's a secret one. I've been keeping this one under the wraps. But we do have another sponsor. It's another sponsor, IOHL condoms. That's right, boys. For a limited time offer availability, fucking IOHL is offering condoms. Unfortunately, they are shaped after Tank's dick, so they only come in extra small.
Shit. Shots fired.
You like that one? I've been thinking about that one all week.
You're giving them too much credit.
All week? That's a little scary, man.
No, I haven't been thinking about Tank's dick all week. I've been thinking about the joke to start it off, but thanks. Okay. So before we get started here, fucking Zendon, what are you drinking? What are you drinking tonight? What are we doing the podcast to?
Well, I am sipping on that same coffee stout that I was drinking a couple of weeks ago, and mix it in a little shot of Kraken here and there.
The fuck is Kraken?
Which is a black spiced rum.
You never seen the commercials for the Kraken rum?
I'm Canadian, so no, I haven't seen anything for American. Yeah. That's all out of the way. We'll introduce our guest. His name is Dose or Doss, whatever you want to go with, and he will be running our stats portion of the for the podcast. Go ahead, sir. Say hello.
Hi, everybody.
All right. He's also a streamer. He'll be linking his or I guess he'll be plugging his stream here in a bit. And then, like always, we have the one, the only, the president of IOHL, Zendon, also known as the Warlock.
Yeehaw.
That's what you're gonna go with? A cowboy?
That's what I'm going with. Yeehaw.
All right.
Cool. Disappointed.
Yeah. Well.
So I have a couple oddball questions. I got a couple oddball questions to ask you guys before we get into it, but I'll ask you first how your week went. How'd your week go in Dallas? How'd your week go in St. Louis? Dose, since you are our guest, I'll let you go first, man. How's St. Louis shaping up this week?
It might be blind optimism. Might be a good way to put the attitude in the St. Louis camp. Everybody's in pretty good spirits considering all the drama that went down this week, but. And myself included, we all feel like we have a solid team, just we aren't getting the results at the end. And I'll go over why I feel that way when we go to the stats portion of how, like when we break it down, there'll be some things that I point out across the league, some with my team, some with the other teams in the league. So, but otherwise, could have been a worse start, especially given what everyone thought we were going to do. But, we all feel that it could have gone a lot better, too. So.
Oh, fuck. Sorry. Yeah, I hate your owner.
Yeah, I've noticed. And I'm not going to lie. I laugh every time I see you posting about it.
I'm just one of these guys, like, I get real edgy when, like, forfeit when the other owner starts throwing around the word like you got this much time or we're gonna forfeit.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, man.
See, I don't see that because obviously I'm not in the owner's chat or anything, but it does not surprise me that those kinds of things are being said.
Yeah, whatever. We had a little bit of a go
It's
at it this week, and it left
it's
some
all-
salty feelings, but I think we're good now.
It's all in good fun at the end of the week. So,
Yeah, for sure. All right, Zendon, how did Dallas do this week? Because you know what's the ironic part? Both of you are in this podcast, and both of you got smashed by my Detroit team this week with me in the lineup. So how's Dallas doing this week?
Well, I think Dallas is in the same boat that St. Louis is, except for instead of the blind optimism, we have blind pessimism. Both of our teams equally stink. I think we actually played a good game or two against each other.
I think,
but neither one of us is very good. Yeah, and and if St. Louis is optimistic about their future, we're not so much. We don't like ourselves.
What's up with all the trade requests coming out of Dallas, man? I've seen like 3 or 4 this week.
Well,
shots fired.
All right. Honestly, you want to know what's going on here? We have really good defense and really good goaltending and absolutely zero offense.
Yeah, your goal differential will back that up.
So what that's led to is every defenseman and goaltender on the team not wanting to be here anymore because we got to defend for 10 to 12 minutes a game when our time on attack is only 2 or 3 minutes. So it's kind of frustrating. The couple of trade requests that have come in, we're going to use them to, hopefully, we're going to use them to turn a couple of these D-men or goalies into some offense, and we'll see what happens.
Well, I will give you guys credit. At least you guys are offering or wanting trades rather than just retiring. So, unlike us.
Yeah, I mean, we have good players, especially the defense. We've got a new member of management. He's new to the league. He's new to management. And he kind of gets very vocal and he gets passionate, and some guys don't like that, so they want to run from it.
Wait,
but Blaine and I try and keep an even keel there, and see how it goes.
Did you trade for Blue 66 and you traded Go Hard?
We traded.
Night, honey.
We traded your favorite all-time IOHL player, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, a.k.a. Going 30 Ghost.
Yeah.
And a couple of TC guys to St. Louis for Blue 666 and another TC guy back.
Yeah, I think Dallas won in that trade for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Canadian bacon.
Ekman-Larsson pops into our chat and goes, "Hey, I hope they told you my availability. Shit, I can play one day this week."
He's such a pain in the ass. He always is.
All right, so we actually had someone drop in on the podcast, and that is Canadian Bacon, the owner of Buffalo, if I'm correct. Right? Buffalo? What team do you own?
That's correct. No.
Right,
no, I'm Nashville.
Oh, Nashville. Fuck. Okay, sorry. Yeah, Nashville. All right, man. So we were just finishing up with Zendon. Zendon, I guess I don't know if you were done there. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's okay. I'm pretty much done. It's basically we're in a we've mostly beat the teams we're supposed to beat, and we've mostly lost the teams that we're supposed to lose to. And although we did have a really good win this week against Swizzy and the Islanders. Basically playing his top line, and they out-time on attacked us like 13 minutes to 2 or something like silly like that, but we beat them 1-0.
Yeah,
that's like last week.
Win is a win.
We played Edmonton last week, and we won 6-1 with 1 minute and 4 seconds time on attack.
That's impressive.
What's up, Cobra?
All right, what's up, Bacon? So we've been giving everyone a chance to talk about their teams, and I guess it's on you now, man. How did Nashville do this week, and how does it feel to have the legendary, the one and only Miss Ovechkin on your roster, sir? Go ahead.
You know what? She played very good, and
she played with what very good?
She played her position.
Oh, come on now, take it easy.
Exactly what I said. She played her position good, and you know what? These guys on my team, they're very good. We just had some, I think all the other teams have had puck luck. To be honest with you, man.
Yeah, just puck
Yeah.
luck.
No,
I've been hearing some rumors about your team being on fire sale. Is this true? Can you confirm or deny?
confirm what? Sorry.
If your team is on like you're on a fire sale right now, like anything must go kind of thing.
Well,
Or not?
Not really.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Let me see the numbers here.
The team, you know what? We have. Like I said, we have a really good team. I think it's just we're not getting those chances. We've been close, right? So
How's Pizza Romo for you guys?
Pizza Roma, he's been good. Yeah, decent.
Yeah, he's a pretty good player.
Yeah, every player on my roster is decent player. I wouldn't say they're bad. Any of them are bad.
Mm-hmm.
Right? No one's really gelled yet. You know?
Building that chemistry up, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. So.
Well, it is only the end of week 2.
Exactly.
Yep. Thank God.
Yeah.
So
we got 4 more weeks at least, right? It's a 6-week or 7-week season. I never really confirmed that. Zendon?
I believe that Kidney has scheduled 7 regular season weeks.
Okay, 7 being like a shortened week kind of thing, right? Or no?
Yeah, I believe so. But I'm not entirely sure.
Right.
I haven't looked at the full schedule yet.
I mean, it makes sense because I know you guys normally do 6 weeks.
Yeah.
If you were trying to balance out 20 teams
Right,
and have
exactly.
everyone have like the right amount of like it would make sense for week 7 to be a shortened week.
I just want to say something. I tell you a team that I think is pretty stellar, and then we played the other day that kicked their ass 8-0 was Montreal. I'm just gonna put it out there, the way they move the puck and the team that they have, JJ, really good player.
There's some rumors about what's going on that team that I can't really go into details due to my position, but we'll see. We'll see how that week enters, or we'll see how that team enters next week. Sorry.
Yeah.
There might be some
JJ's
players
an interesting player.
That's putting it lightly. That's putting it really lightly.
I was gonna say, is that the PC version because we're on air? Like,
yeah, right.
Well,
shit.
I had him
He's
on
good,
my
though.
Montreal team last season.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I didn't even think about him being on Montreal again this season. But he's a really good player. And he's mostly a funny guy.
Yeah. Well, he tore us up. I mean, the one loss I have so far, I've played 10 games so far this season. I've only lost 1, and it was to Montreal, and he smoked us. I think he had a hat trick. Just fucking. But he's one of those kind of players that you can notice he's kind of cherry picking, looking for extra goals, and it just. I don't know. I have very little respect for cherry pickers, even if they're on my own team.
But some teams, that's sorry to cut you off there, but some teams set up for the cherry picking. You know what I mean? Like he plays really high there at center, right? And
he was playing on my side. I had to constantly watch him. He was literally behind me as I'm sitting there at the line, like fuck. I hope they don't pass to him.
Yeah, and somehow they do get the puck to him all the time, like all the time.
Yeah.
Even if you have like three defenders back, right? Like even with our 2 defense, and I was basically playing defense 2 against them, he still knows how to. He has good thumbs, man.
Well, none of his goals were like breakaway goals. Like 2 of his goals were off the face-off, and then it actually got to the point where we were about to get mercied, and our center like rage quit and left, and did not come back because he was getting smoked in the face-off dot, and 2 of his goals were like that. It was just boom, center wins it back to D passes it to JJ put the top shelf. 2 goals exactly the same, just like that. Couldn't stop it. So there's a lot of chemistry there on Montreal. So it's I'm curious to see how they start next week with if they make any trades, because I think someone
for sure.
Yeah. So this actually brings us to the best part of the podcast, where I get to introduce a new segment. There is going to be a debate between me and Zendan a little later on. That should be interesting. It's going to be like formatted and everything, but we actually going to give Dose here. I keep saying both their names. I don't know why. Dose. We're going to give Dose his fucking due, and he's going to talk to us about the stats. He's actually done a great breakdown of the week about how teams did the first week and how they did the second week. So we're going to actually hand it off to him I'm going to open up his weekly standings here, and then he's going to break them down for us. All right, buddy. You're on. It's your stage. Let's go.
Alrighty, lads. So, for those of you that are looking at this and don't know what the fuck a legend is, that's what this little key is. So these teams with these red backgrounds with their logo, those are the guys in the Eastern Conference. The blue is the Western Conference, obviously, and I did that so that way we could kind of see an entire league comparison together rather than the website just having the two conference breakdowns. So we can look here. I'm going to go ahead and sort this by the weekly standings here so we can see who performed well this week, who didn't. Right off the top, you see Chicago with 2 losses. Probably surprised some people. I know one of them was a forfeit. And I think they lost to Vegas in a 7-6 shootout. So Vegas 8-2, Calgary 8-2. So it looks like a lot of the East has some top teams this week, and then they also have the worst teams of this week. So I think that's a common trend moving forward, probably. We'll go ahead and we will flip this over here to the points lead so we can see the entire league's points breakdown here. Basically you can see how their weekly impact here is put towards their points total. Obviously, again, you can see most of the West is a tight race there. I think you got 6 or 7 teams all within 4 or 5 points of each other. So it's definitely interesting. Like you guys said, Montreal's in the heat of there with 20 points. They only went 5-5 this week though, despite impressing some people in some certain games. So it'll be interesting to see how they move forward. Let's take a look at what I called the strength of the week schedule. So basically what I did is I made a calculation here, took down every team that they played this week and assigned a point. So like Chicago, obviously being the top team, was worth 18 points for facing them this weekend. Vegas was the second best team, so they were 17, et cetera, all the way through the list. Added up those point totals and then divided them by 10 for the games played this week. And that's how we got our strength of the week scheduling for this last week. And we can see here that, Edmonton had the strongest schedule this week along with Buffalo, and they both managed to scrape out 4 wins. And then we also got, interestingly enough, 3 of our top teams had the easiest schedule this week. I don't think with Chicago necessarily that's any fluke, but based on where Calgary was last week, we can see in their standings movement, they jumped up 6 spots in the league totals. And a lot of that probably had to do with them having the easiest league schedule this week. So I thought that was an interesting fact, or that something that the numbers pointed out. And you can see part of that's probably because with the easiest schedule, they took care of business. They're 7-2 against the bottom 9 teams, and just about 500 against the top tier teams. So I think they're starting to catch fire a little bit, and I'm interested to see how they proceed moving forward. Let's take a look here. I'm going to ask you guys real quick, anyone who can see the numbers or anything. I don't know how many of you guys can see it or not, but what do you guys think of this, like, strength of schedule? Is there someone there that surprises you, like how tough their schedule was, and then looking at their weekly record, how well they did? Like Vegas had the 4th hardest schedule, and they went 8-2 this week.
Well, I think that Detroit there was definitely had a tough week there, and sorry, just fucking with you. No, I mean, you're doing a great job. I don't. What was the question again? I was just
looking to see if there was something that surprised you. Like you brought up Detroit only going 6-4, and they had one of the easier schedules this week. So you brought that up.
I thought they went 7-3. I'm surprised they went 6-4. I believe one of those games is under the dispute. Something about Raps. I'm pretty sure they went 7-3. I don't know. Apparently, went 6-4.
See, I just went based off what the site said and what I could find by going to each team's page. You could be right if there's a game under dispute, but I hadn't heard anything about that, so obviously I can only go with what I have. But Yeah, as far as what I had, it showed that you guys were at 6-4 on the week.
I think the only thing that really stands out, I mean, everything else looks like it's pretty good. Islanders had an amazing week. Good for them. Ottawa, we beat Ottawa twice so far this season. They're a good team to play against, both close games. Everything else looks normal. Toronto at the bottom there where they belong. And then I think the only thing that's like that's really out is like Minnesota. I didn't realize that the team is doing that bad, and it makes me feel a little, it makes me feel for them.
Yeah.
They're 0-16-2 right now, which is horrible to start off with. I know they've had a change of management, and I'm hoping that team turns around. But like, fuck, like damn,
Yeah,
dude.
I had that last season too with Chicago. Fuck, it was brutal. I know how it is.
Yeah, I remember we played that game on Sunday. St. Louis played Minnesota, the second game on Sunday, and we kind of felt for them a little bit. And now I'm looking at the numbers, and they have the third hardest schedule this past week, and that they scrounged out 2 overtime losses, which means they were within 1 goal of their first win twice this week. You got to feel for them. So.
You're getting some praise, Dose. You're getting some praise. Winnipeg Jets fan says this guy knows with 2 little arm pumps, and Swizzy's like, this weekly report is dope. I think that's because we talked about his team. I think anytime you say anything positive about Swizzy's team, he'll get a semi. So, no, the Islanders did good this week.
I'm not going to lie, because this is my first year in the league. I don't even know who Swizzy's team is. So, I think that's part of the beauty of my segment, is because I can be unbiased to player personnel and just look at the numbers based on the teams and say, this is what I think based on what the numbers are telling me.
That's why I like this part of the podcast, and I hope we do this every week. With fuck, I lost my train of thought. No, it's good. It's good to have just go by the numbers. Don't go based on the teams. Just purely statistical based. That's how I've always believed on how awards should be done, how anything should be done when it comes to leagues. It should never be based on. Because you'll do, like, for example, and as Zendon, I know you'll do like yearly awards, and there'll be a guy like, no man, this guy deserved it because he played harder teams and he played so much better. It's like, but you can't be there to see those games every single time that team plays, so you can't really judge them based on that. You have to go based on the stats, and unfortunately, sometimes your stats are affected by the team you play with. And if you play for a team like Chicago, your stats are gonna be inflated, and that's just how it goes. And you got to base it purely on statistics. So no, I like this.
Yeah. See, me personally, I've never been like a big individual statistic type of person, and I think that's because in real life I was a fucking lineman, so I never had stats, and I was all about the team. So I always like a team breakdown personally. So that's why I like this section of what I put together here, because it gives me the information that I personally like to see, and it's also kind of a little bit more in depth of what the standings are showing, and giving a relationship to the week by week progress of each team. Like, I know you mentioned that you like Toronto down there at the bottom, but actually they had the 3rd best week out of everybody, moving up 4 spots in the standings.
Oh, no. 100%. They did. I mean, if you look at the way they did the first week and the way they did the second week, they've actually had like 100% of a better second week. Yeah. That's without a doubt. But I still like to see them at the bottom just due to my own personal bias.
I'm not saying that that's not a good or bad thing, but
what was that?
While we're here, before I forget, I'm going to do my plug for the Twitter page right now. We're trying to revamp the IOHL Twitter page, guys. You can see right there under the Twitter on the right. Our handle is at IOHL official, or you can use hashtag IOHL streams. And what we're trying to do with that, guys, is anybody who streams games, whether it's to Mixer or Twitch, we've created an account for both sites. And our goal is to eventually get everyone to send in streaming links, and we can pick a game from those links and host them on the league's streaming site. Yeah. And then that way everyone in the league can just come into that site. They can click in to go to your channel if they want, show your channel some support. If not, the community channel is just a place where everyone can pop into the chat, talk, watch the game, especially if it's like, say, a big game like Chicago, Vegas, and people will want to see how it goes down type of thing. So that's what we're trying to do with that. And then I'm going to do my own little plug there. And you can see that's the link to my own personal Twitch, D0S_EXEL.
1 second.
So
Are you showing this? Where are you showing this?
I'll be
It's still on
back, guys.
it's still on the stats page. I just put a little
All right,
thing
back
there.
in. Back in. All right, I see it.
Yeah, I just put it underneath. I put the link there, but it's just twitch.tv/D0S_EXEL. And I do stream pretty much 2-3 times a week, sometimes 4 if I really have no life that week. And that's usually
Sweet.
NHL or FIFA content. So
That's great. You're a big FIFA player? Fucking Zenden here's a big FIFA player.
I do these 3 NHL leagues this season, and I'm in the LG FIFA league. So
yeah, the LG FIFA league is horrible.
I know it is. But you know what?
I played it in one season, and I'm like, I'm never doing this again.
But I can play in the LG FIFA league and be like, oh, you know what? LG hockey's tonight, and they're like, well, it's LG. You know, if you go to like VFL or whatever the other ones are, and you're like, I got an LG hockey match, they're like, fuck that. So
yeah, because that's the one thing a lot of people don't know is LG does have a FIFA league, but there's so many other sites out there that are way bigger in terms of FIFA. And I didn't know that until I think someone else told me about that, had their own little FIFA league with like 10 teams or something like that. I can't remember what the site was. It was a long time ago. Yeah. But that was great, man. This segment's great. We look to improve on it.
Yep.
And I think next week, how old are you?
I'm 23.
Just a quick question.
I'm 23. I just graduated from university in December, and I'm in my first year in my first professional career job. So needless to say,
if you don't mind me asking.
I'm an IT guy for a couple of private elementary schools. So literally, unless a teacher can't figure out how to plug her computer into the wall, I pretty much just sit in my office and respond to emails and do Google administrative shit. And that's why I was able to do this in like 6 hours at work over the last 2 days I was there.
All right. We have a personal request of you, Doss, is that next week come to the podcast completely smashed. KT wants to see you drunk as fuck. I think that's what he's going for here. Someone get him smashed for me, thanks.
See, it would have been perfect if it was like tomorrow at like 11 p.m. Eastern because I'd be coming home from a wedding and, you know, I would be smashed. So.
Oh, yeah, open bar, fucking just sitting there at the bar taking shots.
And the best part is I don't even know anybody there except for my girlfriend. It's her friend's wedding, so it's like, you know, let's just get trashed.
Yeah, you don't care about embarrassing yourself or anything. Like, I'm just getting fucking ripped. Like, fuck
well, honestly, I have no shame, so I can't even embarrass myself. If anything, I would embarrass her, which is just that much better.
Yeah. All right, good shit, man. Have fun tomorrow, that's for sure. All right, another fun thing I wanted to do before me and Zenden get in this heated drunken debate. I forgot to talk about what I was drinking. I'm drinking fucking Captain Morgan original spice rum, and it's fucking delicious. I didn't think it was gonna taste this good. I'm about halfway through the bottle already. It's fucking awesome. I love this stuff.
Nice.
You're only halfway.
So I'm only half. Well, I started drinking around 8, taking like little shots here and there, and then I like to kind of build it up towards the end of the podcast because we do this for like an hour and a half. So I mean,
you like to drink like EDM music likes to be created, you know, the build up and then just drop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. By the end of the podcast, I sound like a fucking moron if you haven't watched the other ones.
I've skimmed through them because there's been times where I've wanted to watch them and I just couldn't really watch the whole thing. So I'd wait till the next morning and skim through them at work.
Yeah, the best way to watch the podcast, I find, is if you're just like doing something like miscellaneous, just nothing, and you just pop it in your ear and you're listening. One dude was listening to it at work and shit, and just like, you know, sat there and listened to it. That's how I listen to most of my podcasts. Like I listen to a bunch of them, and I just listen to them at work when I'm working.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyways, besides that, if you guys actually would have caught the footage of me and Zenden talking after the last podcast, I think we stayed an extra hour and a half on the hangouts there, just talking shit. It was fucking great. I wish that would have been on the podcast. It was awesome. Unfortunately, it wasn't. And Zenden, I think you forgot what you did that night. Like you got so drunk, you went blackout drunk, and then you're asking people the next morning, like, "Hey, I was at a party with you guys last night. Do you remember what happened?"
Yeah, I had no idea. I waited until after the podcast to get totally smashed. And
no, she did it during the podcast. The fuck?
Well, I was getting there, and then we continued after we turned off from being live, and I just kept drinking, and next thing I know, we were playing Fortnite, and I barely remember that.
Kicked? We were getting our asses kicked. Like, we got beat twice in a row, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to bed.
And then you logged off, and then I joined another party with I don't even know who. And I don't know if we actually played any games or not. I have no idea. And the next thing I know, it's 4:00 in the morning, and I'm sitting in my chair with my controller in my lap, and I have no idea what happened from 11 till 4 or something like that.
Talk about a flashback to college. Holy shit.
Yeah, well.
Tell them you ain't here for a long time. You're just here for a good time.
That's right.
Vegas trades showtime for one hockey puck. Condition of puck unspecified. So I guess you could trade a used hockey puck. I think that's what we're going for. Damn.
Well, yeah, they didn't say if it was a used puck or a new puck, or if the puck had chips in it or bites taken out of it, or
if it was me, I'd want the one the dog ate. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know.
I see the trade between Dallas and St. Louis now. That's Blue. Hockey is cool. So you got the angry face looking motherfucker, and you got Blue, who's he played really good in that game he played against us, and then it just kind of opened up and the defense fell apart.
Yeah, I think Blue was kind of a unique situation for our management. Like they liked him and they liked his efforts, but we actually had our other goalie, Minnie Bearded. He was actually playing better. So he was getting most of the game reps. And then on top of that, Blue just doesn't talk. He doesn't say anything in the party, and he doesn't show up until 2 minutes before the game, and then he leaves for an hour in between the games. And for whatever reason, that just—
I hate to break it to you. I don't know how much league you guys have played, but if you're a goalie, you're not supposed to talk. No, I don't want to hear a goalie.
I'm just saying,
I don't want to fucking hear a goalie,
I'm just saying
dude.
That was the issue our management had with it, and I think that's probably why that move the trigger was pulled.
Yeah, I think Gohard was talking about moving him early on, and me and Zendek kind of talked him out of it. I think he was talking about. He was like, "Oh well, he's gonna request a trade anyways." And I'm like, "Dude, he hasn't requested a trade. He's not that kind of person." I think you talked him out of it more than I did, Zendon. Yeah. But I think the basic gist of it was like, "Yeah, don't trade him. Like you're stupid."
Don't get me going about Gohard. That guy's called me 5 times today. Like literally.
He likes you. That's not a bad thing.
But I will say this: in that trade, we did get Yippee Kaye, and I don't know how much people know about him, but I know he runs, or at least ran, League Nations, which was a hockey league that I tried to be a part of last year, and my team collapsed. But he's a pretty solid goalie, so I think we'll be okay, even though we gave up Blue, and it cleared up cap, because obviously Blue is our highest salary cap, being the first pick that we had. So.
All right, so we're going to go to, after all that, talking about trades, the stats thing, great. We're all going to go to a fun part of this podcast that I have planned that I haven't told you guys anything about, but you are going to name a player, and it could be completely biased. The best player, like the player you consider the best, and the player you consider the worst. And also want to throw this in there, hashtag Misso for staff, just for shits and giggles. So we'll start with Zendon. Actually, no, we'll leave Zendon for last. We'll start with Bacon. The player you consider to be the best in the league and the player you consider to be the worst in the league. And it doesn't have to be statistical. It could be totally biased. It could be based on a personal reason. In fact, I would love if you would actually tell us your personal reason just for the podcast and the listeners. Bacon, there you go, man. I'm going to throw it to you first.
Okay, well, I'm going to go with Monster J.
As the best or worst?
As the best.
As the best.
As the best. I've played with him a couple times, and anyhow.
What team is he on?
He's on Vegas.
Vegas.
I'm pretty sure he's on Vegas. Yeah. He's on Vegas, isn't he?
I don't know. I'm following your lead, bro.
Oh.
He's on Vegas. He's on Vegas.
He is on Vegas. Yeah. Yeah, they slaughtered us, and man, I've played with that kid, and I've seen that kid play, and I have not seen that kid score less than 3 goals a game.
Well, right now he has 10 games played and 36 points, so that's a pretty accurate statement, sir. All right.
Yeah.
Damn.
All right. The worst.
Yeah.
The worst. I'm gonna go with Boston Bruins 1-1-1.
I think I was just rolling over a trade for him.
You know,
I think I was. You know what?
You know why? the guy, he's horrible, and it's a personal reason. The guy tried to contact me on Xbox, asking me if I was interested in him, and then the day what's his name wanted Bran or whatever the heck his name is wanted to play us later on after the invite and all that other nonsense or whatever. He sends me a message saying, "You're not gonna forfeit this, right?" Like he's just, I don't know. I don't like him.
Yeah. All right.
Is that good enough for
That's
you
all.
guys?
That's all it takes, sir. It doesn't. You just don't like him. I'm fine
Yeah.
with that answer.
All right.
Was it Boston staff at one point? Is that the same guy I'm thinking about?
No.
Sending?
No, not at all.
There was a Boston dude who was staff. Which one was that?
Yes, he was Boston fan 17 or something like that was his gamer tag. Really
The
cool
owner of
dude from
Winnipeg.
No.
Is it? Yeah, he's the owner of Winnipeg.
No, he's not. It's a different guy.
All right,
Nope,
all right, sorry.
different guy.
All right, my bad. All right, go.
There's a lot of Boston people out there, so a lot of Boston
Apparently.
gamer tags.
Fucking
Boston,
apparently.
the guy that was staff is, he's not playing this season because he just got a job as a cop and he's got no time right now.
Yeah, for sure. Fucking career starts first, right?
Exactly. So, but he, and then the Boston Bruins guy is the owner of the Bruins, or Bruins fan. I think his gamer tag is. I can't keep them straight.
Yeah, I'm not expecting you to. Yeah, it's confusing for me.
But Boston Bruins 111. I've got a long history with him, even though he's like 12 years old. He actually.
So you knew him like when he was like 7 or something? Is that what you're trying
Yeah,
to tell me?
I think he took over a team in the league when he was like 6.
What?
You know, we had a team fold. You know, an owner quit and the team was in trouble, and he wanted to own, and we wouldn't let him own from the start. But we needed to know he wasn't literally 6. I think he's actually 16 or 17 now, and he was probably 15 when he took that team over.
Yeah.
But he's been around a long time. He's not a great player. He was a very good role player for our Montreal team 2 seasons ago. Filled in anywhere, was always on. He was just one of those guys that he wasn't going to hurt you. But he's not a great player, but his availability was always great. And if he didn't play, he didn't mouth off. And if he played his hardest and whatever. But I think as he's gotten older, he's 12, but he's kind of developed a little bit of an attitude, and it's pissed a few guys off. He actually started this season on our team, on Dallas. Did not make it to game 1 before he complained about not being in the opening night lineup, and he's better than everybody else, and blah, 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 and obviously, like Bacon said, he's not. And so he got shipped out pretty quickly. And I think he's been on 4 or 5 different teams already this season. So,
all right. Well, so just to cut out here a little bit, we got some news from the owner's room. Let's take it to the WhatsApp. Brand Flakes 15 2020, which is the new 22, which is the new fucking owner of Minnesota. My apologies, people. With my recent moves, expect a new and improved Minnesota. All right, sir. Well, we'll take that to heart, and we'll talk about it next podcast. And then Bacon, you got I think Swizzy says you got him dying. So stop killing people. It's fucked up. Stop doing it.
If he's listening in, I want his realistic guess of how many wins he thinks he's going to get this week.
Who are we talking to?
All right, Swizzy.
Brand
If
Flakes
you're listening in,
or
how many
Swizzy?
wins do you think you're going to get this week? That's
Swizzy,
what Bacon wants from you. All right, so moving on to the podcast, Dios, we're going to have you, sir, give the same exact question. Best player you think in the league, worst player you think in the league. Again, completely can be biased. Does not have to be statistical based. Go.
Right. Okay, well, mine are biased based on limited experience, obviously. So I'm going to go with the best player. I'm going to go with Lance Todd. I don't know if that's how you say his fucking gamer tag.
I think it's Langcott.
Langcott, yeah.
From Montreal.
We'll go with that. Yes. Right. And I'm going to say that one obviously is up there on the points board, but I played him in LG this past week, and he just like single-handedly ran through our team. He had like a goal and 3 or 4 assists, and he was the whole reason they even played well. So I think he's a really good player. For my
wait. Sorry, I'll read off the stats for Lancott because you mentioned him. He has 11 games played, 44 points, ladies and gentlemen. Plus 14, 25 goals, 19 assists. That's right. He's a fucking puck hog. No, he's just good. He's got some good statistics there. Yeah, Lancott, I've known him for a long time because he used to play in a league that I used to run. He's a great player, just by far.
Yeah.
And he's always with Kong because Kong and Lancott kind of go together.
I could tell that Lancott, he's very calm on the puck, and like he's very experienced on the sticks because he can just dangle through a defense like it's nothing. And
yeah, you like the way he handles his stick. Right?
Yeah. I love watching it. It just gets me so hard. But he just does wonderful things, and you think he's going to slot it back post, and then he just leaves it there, and his buddy slams it into an open net. So, he can do anything really that he wants to. So that's my reason for best player. For worst player, I really don't know a whole lot of the worst players, so I'm just going to throw out a name that I've heard a lot of like criticism about, and I'll let you guys tell me why he's the worst player. That's going to be Snipe Show.
I knew it.
I know that's what you were fishing for.
I know
that's what you were fishing for.
No, I wasn't fishing for it. I swear to God, I wasn't fishing for it. No,
you were so.
I don't think Snipe Show, when he gets a bad reputation for being a puck hog, but the most thing he gets criticism, mind you, not trying to make fun of the guy, he does have it. It seems like, I don't know, I haven't talked to him personally, but he has posted videos before of him, and we've shared it a bunch of times because we find it funny, and which makes us evil bastards. But it seems like he has a little bit of a disability, so I don't want to go in on him hard. Okay. And I think that's what a lot of people kind of mock him for. And it's just and the teams that have had him, like, one, he's not worth $5 million. So the fact that he was signed as a captain by Dub was just a stupid fucking move. Everyone in the league fucking knows it. So that's the big joke this season. It is about the fact that Snipe Show is worth $5 million, and it's not. He probably would have got drafted in the TC. But in terms of his skill wise, a lot of people see him as a puck hog. From what I could tell, I've never actually played with the guy. He just gets a lot of criticism for the fact of that video that he posted and the fact that he's not very good at the game. And a lot of people, that's kind of what it is. That's what gets him. That's what his attention.
Yeah, I just heard a lot of things about like he's like kind of like arrogant about himself and thinks highly of himself, and then it rubs people the wrong way. And so I just threw that name out there because I really don't know too many people in hockey leagues just yet. This is the first season where I'm starting to scroll through like player stats and stuff or rosters, and I see a couple names I recognize from different leagues. But Go Hard
would have been an acceptable answer as well.
I'm down with that.
If you didn't sign my playing time, I might have considered it. No, I'm kidding. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm in that unique point where this is only my second season in any league playing, so I'm still learning the faces and the names and stuff. But there are some names that I've seen across, at least on the good end, because it's easier to see people that are good, and it's easy to forget the people that take two dicks in the ass at the same time. So
yeah. 100%, sir. 100%. Zenon knows all about that. All right, Zenon, being Iowa still president, you have been around this league for fucking ever, which makes you like 60 years old in my eyes.
Just about.
Just about. All right, so same question, man, and don't hold back. Don't hold this because you're staff. Let's not be professional here. Let's take our shirts off and fucking party with it.
I've been thinking about this.
Horrible metaphor, but go ahead.
For a few minutes now, while everybody else has been talking.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm kind of disappointed that while Canadian Bacon was giving his answer, you didn't put his picture up on the screen.
I did flash his photo at one point.
You did? I missed it.
I did. Yeah. Here, I'll do it again.
Remember last week we talked about the picture that Poppy sent the team chat way back, and he sent that picture to us last week, and we posted it. There's some famous pictures that go around the league, And one of them is this picture of Canadian bacon, and I think it's the greatest picture in the world.
He looks like a white version of Zero from Holes.
Dude, he looks like a fucking legend. You know what this looks? When I look at this photo with that fucking fro, that's a fucking legend. All right, you can pull off that fro and still get laid. You and sir, in my eyes, are a fucking bomb. All right.
I think he looks like Kramer from Seinfeld's illegitimate son, and I think it's awesome. So cheers to that picture.
Yeah, cheers.
9 wins.
Okay.
9 wins for New York Islanders. To answer your question, there, Bacon. They think they're gonna win on 9. They're gonna go 9-1.
9-1. Wow.
Yeah. Good luck.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. Is right.
Winnipeg says Bacon can't talk about my players like that, and a bunch of other shit. We suck. We beat Vegas. Blah blah blah. All right, go ahead, Zenden. My bad.
Okay, so I'm actually going to give you who I think the best forward in the league is, who I think the best defenseman in the league is, and who I think the best goaltender in the league right now is.
Well, best goaltender. I guess that could have been added. I'm sorry, guys. Fucking Zenden is taking it up a level. My apologies. Go ahead, sir.
So I'm going to start with the goaltender, and I'm going to be a little bit biased here. And he did go number 1 overall this year, which at the time I didn't think he deserved. But now I've played with him for 2 weeks. That dude profits a rage. He is a really, really good goaltender. So good.
His stats don't show it.
No, his stats don't show it because again, we're in that. The other team's got 13 minutes time on attack to R2.
Yeah,
so his stats don't show it, but man, is that guy freaking good. He held us in every game this season with the exception of maybe 1 or 2. Even if we got beat 4 or 5-1 or whatever the case may be, we were in that game in the middle of the third period because he kept us in it. That dude just played amazing. And he put in his trade request from our team just yesterday, and we're going to trade him. And I don't blame him for doing it because he's getting shelled every game for all game and not getting any credit for it. And I just wanted to give the guy a little credit. He's conducted himself.
Who did he get drafted by?
By Dallas. He was picked number 1 overall by my team.
All right.
And, I think Blaine made a big mistake when he drafted. He drafted Prophet number 1, and then he drafted me, another goalie, with his second pick. And then he drafted, I forget, I think Ekman Larson was his third pick.
Ugh.
We had
the second 2 picks are horrible.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. And not that any of those players are not worthy of their round, except for Ekman Larson. He's a fucking whatever. But what happens when you do that is you don't take your first offensive player until the 4th or 5th round. You're in trouble.
Yeah.
And that's exactly where we stand right now.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
So, like I said, I'm voting Prophet as the best goalie in the league right now.
I want to know how you can just ignore the 1,769 save percentage of 187.
Well, actually, Prophet's range is 183, so let's throw that out the book. And Dallas is
save percentage, not saves. If you go to the team or the league leader player stats, there's some goalie 187. His save percentage is 1,769.49. Like, this dude's making saves in the 4th dimension during the games or some shit.
Is he for, like, Chicago or something?
Buffalo, it says.
Buffalo.
Someone doesn't know how to input some fucking stats.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
that's why.
Wait. Before we go on here, but Zenden,
go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off, man. I'm looking at the save
okay, I'm used to it.
Looking at the save percentage here, 82.81. And then his goals against is 1.83 for the 6 games he's played so far.
Who's that?
Prophet's a rage.
Yeah.
So realistically, he's averaging only 2 goals let in, or someone's just fucking up with stats. But those are some pretty good numbers. Yeah, but even then, like for a team like Dallas, they got smoked by us. You don't understand. Like Providence played really good for the first 2 periods. Stopped every one-timer, we fucking worked Dallas. And it's strange for Detroit to do that because we're not that kind of team where we can work another team that badly. And we, I think that the final score was like 10 minutes time on attack to 3 minutes. I'm not 100% sure, but it was up there. And he played amazing for the first 2 periods, and then the third period, like everything just went in. Just everything went in. And I think the final score of that was like 5-1, 5-2. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think 5-2, and that's exactly what has happened to us in a whole bunch of games. We're in these games and we're hanging tight, and Profit in our defense has kept us in them, and the offense just can't score a goal, and it's been tough. Like I said, when you're getting out time on attack 13-2 every game, it wears on the defense and really wears on the goalie. So
can I say something real quick?
Absolutely, go for it.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
So I used to play goalie. I haven't played forward in, I don't know, probably like 5 seasons, right? And I started playing goalie when NHL 18 came out. And anyhow, the animations for the goalies is ridiculous in this game. And I'm just going to throw it out there, right? Like, if you're hugging the post and stuff like that, your guy comes off the post, or I've seen pucks go right through people's chests. Like,
yep.
Like, it's fucking. Am I allowed to swear on here?
Of course.
Yeah. We encourage it. Actually.
I talked about 2 dicks staring at the anus earlier.
It's ridiculous. You know, and like for 6 games for him to ask for a trade request is, I don't know.
Well, he hasn't played 6 games. We had an ownership change and management change, and it's just been. I think he played 6 games for 5 or 6 the first week, and definitely 6 this week. So he's played 12 or 13 games, I think. So, yeah. And he was in net when we beat the Islanders 1-0. I actually scored the only goal of the game, which how rare is that? I was playing right wing that game, and I got the only goal.
I'm not saying he's a bad player. I know he's a really good goalie because he was on my list when we were doing the draft. But anyhow, go on to your worst player.
Your worst player's in.
No, I'm giving you my best defenseman, and then my best
each position.
Yeah, and then the best forward. And I haven't even come up with the forward yet, so I'm thinking while I'm talking. But I'm going to give a shout out to my buddy who's supposed to be on this podcast today. Nope, not Eddie.
No?
Who I think is the best positional defenseman in this game now.
Which I disagree.
Is Black Aviar. And I don't
definitely disagree.
I don't think it's even close. I really don't. And it's not because he's my friend. He's a jackass, and I tell him he's a jackass. But I've had him on my teams. He plays for Tampa.
Tampa, okay.
And I just think the guy is, he's never going to score any goals. He's barely going to have any assists. Yes, he's going to struggle getting the puck out of the zone once in a while. But if you need a defenseman to shut a winger down, I'm picking him every time. So there we go.
I'm getting drunk.
He's played 4 games in 2 weeks, and this is who
he hasn't. He hasn't. Owners don't know how to do stats. I don't know what the hell's going on with these stats. I haven't even looked at them.
Yeah, my fucking standings and stats have more games played for each team than the actual team website roster because I had to go hunting for it.
Oh, shit.
Well, we're going to have a whole lot of owners getting penalties after tonight because we told everybody they needed to have their stats in by tonight or there's going to be consequences. So that'll be fun tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going to send them pictures of Tank's dick.
Yeah.
What happened to
Poppy Gonzalez says Miss O is the best defenseman in the league.
She fucking is. Hashtag Miss O for staff. I hope she's listening. I love you.
Since we're talking about it, I noticed you changed the status on your WhatsApp profile. So
I love Miss O.
You're no longer in the closet for Miss O anymore. I know you're.
No.
You're
I'm a firm Miss
You're hot
O.
after her.
Even though she hates my guts for spreading around the urban legend. Okay, so for anyone who doesn't know, and I won't show it because I'm not an asshole, but there's a little bit of an Iowa Chill urban legend. That's what it is. That's what it's become. There's a photo that goes around that looks similar, and I'm fucking guilty of spreading it. I admit it. Fuck, it's me. I'm an asshole. But there's a photo that goes around of this chick licking her titty, and it's a fucking giant ass titty. I'm not gonna show it because I'm not an asshole. Maybe I will. Fuck it. I'm not gonna do it. But a lot of people think it's Miss O. I don't honestly think it's Miss O, but a lot of people think it is, and it's just kind of funny because it's become a little bit of an urban legend where like you show the photo and like, is that Miss O? And so many people believe it, but it's not actually her. So it's funny. No, but I'm a Miss O believer.
What's the bigger urban legend, the Loch Ness or Miss O?
That's a tough question to answer. I don't think I could do that. I don't think I can answer that one. Zenden. All right, so fuck that, Zenden. Your worst player.
So the best forward.
No, wait, what? You're going position by position, motherfucker. Jesus
Where have
Christ,
you been for the last 15 minutes?
I gotta take a piss.
Fucking drinking my bottle. All right.
Okay, so I'll make it quick. And again, I don't look at stats. I just know it by who I play against and what their game is. And there's a reason why I call this dude the Puppet Master. And there's a reason why he's got one of the best teams every season. And that's my man Dark. To me, he is the best forward in the league. He doesn't score the most goals. He doesn't have the most assists. But he's a two-way player who gets his guys to play great around him no matter who it is. He's taking guys like Woody and Tupacalypse and Poppy to turn over Machine Gonzalez and turn them into the best players in the league.
I mean, Dark is second in the league right now in assists with 25. The only person better is Gonzalez with 33. So
Poppy's great. I tease him because he was on my team a couple of seasons ago, and I think he had 25 or 30 turnovers in a game once. Our team wasn't great, and it wasn't easy, and that's what happened. So I tease him about that. But you could put two scrubs on Dark's line, and they would score goals because he knows how to create space. He knows how to move the puck. He knows how to get his ass back on defense, which most of the good forwards don't know how to do. And he's a leader. So that's my three. That's my three great players.
Well, to add on to the Dark thing, me and Dark have kind of always been at arm's length because we have some history going back to the fact that some other league nonsense, and me and him kind of got into it. My GM got into it. Never really had an issue with the guy, other than I think me and him have kind of got at it in different WhatsApp chats. But yeah, I have to agree with you. I think from what I've seen, he's a stud. I mean, he's stellar. He's done a really great job. But besides kissing his ass, and I guess now it goes to the portion where we're sucking Chicago's dick. But my top player, and I'll start with that, is Poppy. I think Poppy's been killing it. I think fucking 11 games played, 51 points. Yes, I know he's scrub hunting. Yes, I know he's playing all the shitty teams. Good for him. Fuck that shit. Go for the award. And this is kind of more statistical based than it is bias based, but I think by far he is one of the best forwards in the league right now, best players in the league. I'm not going to break it down like you, Zenden, because I just don't have to for that. But no, Poppy definitely is killing it. And the worst player in the league, oh man, do I got time for a list? I know a lot of people.
Do you want me to give you mine and see if you agree with it?
Did you give me your worst player yet? I didn't realize you didn't. Okay, go ahead.
I can give it to you right now.
Yeah, do it. And explain it. My bad. I thought you were. I'm sorry. I'm so gone at this point.
Well, I went on for so long,
Yeah, it felt like an hour.
I think the worst player in the league is Don't F with Fred. Fucking Fred.
Yeah, he's plus.
If Fred's
plus 30 right now.
Yeah, because he's carried. Fred's a scrub. Fred knows he's a scrub. That's why when he gets drafted by a bad team, he runs like a bitch.
Oh,
because he knows he's going to get exposed.
He knows that it's had one too many drinks when. Fuck. All right.
So fuck Fred.
Hey, don't F with Fred.
Oh, I'll F with
Well,
Fred.
it's some pylon now. It's not even donut for Fred. I was just say statistically. Okay, so by far the best player, Poppy. That's actually I would agree with you, but his statistics just I know he's getting carried, but man, his stats don't lie at a certain point.
He actually had a hat trick against St. Louis. What was it, yesterday or 2 days ago? So
He put up some good. I think it was yesterday night because I remember hearing about it. Like I think either this morning or last night.
Yeah, he had a hat trick and an assist, I think.
Yeah, did Brewski play this year?
No.
Oh, okay, that's his playoff stats. All right, so for some reason that's in the season 15 stats. I'm gonna go with Chell King. I called him out. No. Hear me out. I called him out in my power rankings because I played with this guy before. He's an absolute fucking scrub, and I'm sorry for my curse words for the children listening, although there's probably none. I just think he's a horrible defenseman. I don't know why he signs up for defense. I see he's on, and I'm not okay. So I can't say that, but I see that, fuck. Okay, I can't say that because it's all right. I can just stop myself right there. But he's a horrible defenseman. I think I've played with him multiple times, and he's arrogant. He's kind of like Snipe Show in terms of thinking he's the best and his shit don't stink. And he's just horrible. I hate playing with him. I've been on teams with him before. I've traded him. I think in other leagues I've traded him to other teams. He's retired on those teams because he's a fucking dick and a douchebag. So maybe I'm a little biased in that point, but he's just his personality, his gameplay, himself. He's just garbage. He's the worst player in IOHL by far, hands down. Fucking sign that shit, seal it, spill some of that blood on it just to make it official. I just, not a fan of a Chell King, as you can fucking tell. Jesus Christ. Oh, shit.
Isn't he on the trading block right now?
That's what I didn't want to say.
Now. You can't talk about that, you goofball.
I didn't know that.
He's not. I don't know if he is or not. We can't confirm or deny that.
Okay.
Oh, shit. Swizzy says all he hears is Zennin choking on Dark's dick. I agree. Fred sucks. King Onich, it hurts. Ha ha. All right. Good shit. Yeah, I didn't want to go into the fact that he was on the trade block, but since you said it, yeah, he's on the trade block. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Can I tell a Chell King story? It's actually it's a two-part story.
Once upon a time.
Once upon a time.
Yeah. There you go.
My Montreal team last year that I took over because the owner quit 2 weeks into the season or something like that.
That's very big of you, sir.
I ended up I felt like I needed a late season scoring push. So I traded a couple of guys and brought in a couple of guys who I thought were going to be a good pair because they happen to be personal friends. And that's JJ and Chell King.
Yeah, they're friends with each other, as far as I remember.
They live like blocks from each other, and they're friends with each other, and blah, blah, blah. And Chell King was playing offense mostly at that point last season. So I traded for the two of them. Figured I'd put them on the same line with Losh, who was playing wing last season, and he's playing goalie this season. It went so horribly that it forced Losh to quit. JJ was really aloof and kind of just all over the place and didn't seem interested in all. And we had a really good team. I think we were second in our conference at that time. And Chell King, 3 days before the season ended, left the chat and quit the team because he wanted to join a Rainbow Six League.
For LG?
3 days. I have no idea. 3 days before the playoffs start.
Rainbow Six Leagues exist? What?
Yeah, for LG they had one. I don't know if it's still running.
And I depleted my depth to get those guys, so I had no TC left. I had no nothing. But here I thought I was set, and they forced Losh to quit, and then Chell King quits on me 3 days before the playoffs start, and we ended up I think we got eliminated in the first round. It was horrible. Even though we were one of the top teams going into the playoffs, it was terrible. So that's my Chel King and JJ story.
Yeah, no, it sounds about right. I mean, I've never heard that one before, and it speaks volumes to pretty much what the fuck I was saying. Like, you're quitting for a fucking Rainbow League? What? I don't know. I think I already said enough on that, dude. But all right, so unless anyone else has anything else to add to this podcast, this is now the featured event where me and Zenden debate, and we have this structured. We agreed on it, right, Zenden?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so basically it's going to be a 10-minute debate. I'm going to have 3 minutes. Zenden's going to have 3 minutes. We're going to have 2 minutes to respond to each other, and then we were supposed to have more people on the podcast, but since we have a whole bunch of people viewing, and then we have, Dose and Bacon, we'll have them vote on who they think made a more successful argument. Sound fair?
Sounds good, man.
All right, so the basic argument, and I think me and Zenden, for as long as we've known each other, like this, me and you have been buddies for a long time. I think since me and you kind of connected, because me and you at the time were kind of running our own separate leagues, so we had a lot of things to talk about with each other. So we've been friends for a while. But the one thing we've always fundamentally disagreed on was the handling of late assignments. So basically, the basic question is, I think we both agree. First, we'll get this out of the way. We both agree RAs should not have, late assignments should not have trade requests, right?
Absolutely.
Disagree.
So we basically agree on that. Bacon, you're not part of the debate, damn it.
We can let you weigh in after.
All right.
Yeah, well, since he already weighed in, I want to say I agree with it. That's all I'll say. There we go.
Agree. Beautiful. We already have our two biased viewers in the podcast. They're telling us their points, so we know which way they're going to vote, no matter how we talk. So we both agree they should not have trade requests. So I'll open it up to you, and the basic question is, when it comes to RAs, when it comes to late assignments, when it comes to bidding on players, should they be allowed to be traded by the league? And I'll give you the first 3 minutes. It's gonna be you 3 minutes, me 3 minutes, and then we'll get 2 minutes each to respond to each other's point. Sound fair?
Absolutely.
All right, sir. So since you're the visitor and I am a gracious host, I will let you listen to me go first.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, I was leading somewhere else with that, but all right. Okay, so basically, again, we disagreed with this on the point. I'll start right now. The reason I think RAs should be allowed, or bidded players should be allowed to be traded. I've never fundamentally believed in, I don't know why I keep using that word. I've never believed in teams. So the one thing it affects is, I understand your point of view where you're trying to, and I'll establish this first. Your point of view is, we don't allow this because we want players to sign up at the draft, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right. Just want to get that out there so people know. But I don't think it actually helps. I mean, there's a couple reasons. One, you hurt your teams. You hurt the teams in the league. Not so much the top teams because they don't care, but so much like every other team in the middle and below, because they get all each team has retirements. Detroit had a couple of retirements. I don't know about the Islanders. I know a bunch of other teams had a bunch of retirements. So now we get these RAs and they're random assignments. So they're not random is, I don't know how you guys do it specifically, but random assignments means random. You get whoever's on that list depending on where you are in the order. So if you need a goalie, sometimes you'll get a left defenseman, and maybe you want to trade that left defenseman for a goalie. Maybe another team wants them and he has a goalie for trade. So you basically limit teams. You limit them based on, okay, I want people to sign up early. But now we're in the season, and a lot of teams are hurting for players, and they're hurting for active players, and they're hurting for certain positions that they need that other players are not willing to play. So now they're trying to trade, and they can't do it. They get these the players they bid on. Sometimes they don't work out. Sometimes they want to go play for someone else. Now, as an owner, you should have that option. Do I want to keep this guy, or do I want to trade him? And when you limit that option, you hurt the team. You hurt the team's ability to get better. You hurt the team's ability to field a line of 6. You hurt the team's ability to build chemistry when you do that. And I understand the point of okay, we want to stop these fucking dudes who are signing up late, who are just fucking assholes who want to fuck the league. I don't think that number is I know me and you have disagreed on this at the point. I don't think that number is as big as you make it out to be. I think it's more of an exaggeration because the most people I hear complaining about it is not the owners. It's not the players. I hear more staff point of view of them complaining about it. I don't know if it's you get that from other owners complaining about it or newer owners complaining about it. But, okay, so you do that. You limit them, whatever. So you think you solve the problem, but you don't because as we see in certain cases, with players signing up early as they get onto these teams, and we've seen a couple of first-round picks that start with their team, but then by the end of the season they end up on a different team, whether it be for personal reasons, whether it be for the same exact reasons a late sign-up would sign up, whether they don't want to play for you, they want to play for someone else. So we'll use Fred as an example. Fred, within the rules, did everything right. You can't blacklist him for that, right? You give him his trade request, whatever. Told his owner, I don't want to play here. He's a first-round pick. Whether he would have signed up late or before, it does not matter. He's still got to go to where he wants to go. So realistically, all you're doing now is you're hurting smaller teams and the middle teams from building their teams to what they want by hampering bidding and RAs from being traded. And that's it. I'll leave it at that. I don't have anything else to say. I only used 2 minutes. And go ahead, Zen, if you want to respond or give me your point. And I already understand your point on it. I just think that, what I think, right? And we've always disagreed on this, and I like you, and I understand that. So go ahead, sir. You have your couple minutes.
Well, I think the first thing I want to say about it is that I'm going to use your word. Fundamentally, I agree with you. In a perfect world, you're 100% right. But the reason why we do this now, and the reason why some of the owners and yourself are disagreeing with it is because the problem has been quelled to a point by now. This all started 3 seasons ago, and it was a major, major problem. I mean, every single good player did not sign up for the draft, and they waited until after. Teams were forfeiting their draft picks so that they could save cap money because they knew that they were going to be able to sign their buddies, a week later or 2 weeks later, and it wouldn't matter. And the problem was really bad. So we instituted this rule, and it's been in place now for, I think this is the 3rd season we've handled it this way. It's a little over-dramatized this season because normally we don't even start late season bidding until after week 2. So it would have started this week. But we had bidding the first week because there were so many teams that were having trouble. So we kind of adjusted it to allow them to get some players. And then we did a round of random assignments after, with those players that didn't get bid on and got, cleared the list of signups. And then we did it again this past week. Under normal circumstances, we wouldn't even have any of these players on rosters yet. So none of it would matter. Those players then would take the entire week of this week to get bid on, and they weren't eligible to play until week 4. So like I said, under normal circumstances, none of this would matter because those players wouldn't make all that much of an impact on the season anyway. But we've had to adjust that due to the circumstances. It's always tough the first season when a new game comes out, for the year. You got a lot of people that don't make the draft time or don't get the game the first week. You end up with those guys that get the game a month into it, and that's why they're signing up late and whatever. So it's a little over dramatized this season. But the bottom line is the reason we do it, and it's been effective, is to cut back on that. And that's realistically why it's a problem this season, because the owners that have only been around for 1 season or maybe 2 seasons, and yourself only being on staff for 1 season, didn't see where this was 3 or 4 seasons ago and how bad it was. And how effective this rule has been at stopping that. So there you go.
Is that your closing statement?
There you go. That's my closing statement.
All right. I mean, most of that was more or less explaining why it was done the way it was this season. I don't find that I got 2 minutes to respond, I believe. Look, I won't respond to that basically, but I will elaborate a little bit more on my point because I kind of understand where you're going with it. But the point is, man, what you have to look at is, yes, teams were struggling, and they're still struggling. See, I understand from a staff's point of view where we don't want to change too many rules mid-season because it just fucks with people. But here, let me throw a different angle at it. Instead of making staff vote on it, make the owners vote on it. If you give the power to the owners to vote on a change, on any changes through the middle of the season, staff are no longer on the fucking are on the hook. It becomes down to the owners what they want to do. What
right,
they
and I
feel.
understand
so
that.
You'll have,
but like I said in the owner's room today,
hey, sir, you're cutting me off, sir.
You're right, I'm cutting you off. The owners don't look at the long-term effect of it on the league. They just look at what's going to affect them this season. They don't care about what it does for next season and beyond. And I'm not saying that we're not going to.
That's how you should look on it. We're not
okay,
talking
but as a league, we have to look at it the other way.
No, I understand that, but we're not dealing with the normal season here, and me and you both know that. Without going into details, we're not dealing with the normal season here. Me and you, we both know that there's some things that need to be corrected this season that we need to give the owners a little bit of leeway. So, like, the whole point I'm trying to make is, like, I understand the point of view is, like, we don't want to put staff on the hook for making changes throughout the season. So what you do as a staff member is you throw it on to the owners. It's like, okay, we're going to have an owners vote. With all 20 of you vote on this topic, whether or not you should be able to do this as a terms of giving them a little leeway. Next season is next season. What should have happened at the beginning of this season is everything should have been documented, written down. Everything should have been changed. Everything should have been set going into the season, but we didn't do that. Nothing was really, like I said in the beginning of the first podcast when we did the live show, is it seemed like this season everyone got into the season and no one was really ready for it. You know, you had a bunch of owners that were just kind of like shell shocked, and you just have you had a couple owners quit and had the full teams. So, not to say IOHL is a great league. IOHL, for as long as it's been up and running, it's a great league, and there's always room for improvement. For the time being, for this season, what I'm saying is throw it to the owners, and I guarantee you're going to have more than enough votes to be able to move RAs this season. Next season is next season. If you set a precedence at the beginning of the season and you do it right, and you have everything marked down, then that's it. That's next season. We're talking about this season to help owners. That's my main concern, is because if how you do this season determines on how well you start next season, right? So
I understand that.
If this is the case and a bunch of teams are struggling and a bunch of teams have had a bunch of players, like we had a player retire on us this week because we forfeited a game to Toronto, and the player who was in that game said, "This is a waste of my time. Fuck this, blah, blah, blah," and he retired on us. Now we get an RA that we can't move. Like, we got this chick who's a goalie who's a cunt. No offense, I don't give a shit. Her name's Wonderlust. She's a bitch. She fucking blames the whole entire fucking team. Every league I've ever seen her, she blames the whole entire team but herself. And we've even proven her wrong by showing her statistics in another league of a team that did worse with a better goalie, and he has better statistics on her team, which did better, and her having worse statistics. So it's like, now we're stuck with her. We can't move her. And it's not even just me, it's other teams too. I'm just giving my team as an example because that's a personal thing. Like, that's, okay, we got this player. That's the one thing I can really base on. But I see other teams also struggling. I see my owner also struggling. And it's not even like he's trying to be like, "Yo, Cobra, get this rule changed for me." I believe this ever since we've ever met, that RAs should be allowed to be traded because you hamper the team's ability to do what the team needs to do, and that's to build a competitive team. That's what you want. You want a competitive league.
So,
all right, go ahead, sir. It's you. I'm done.
So, I kind of agree with what you're saying about that, but I kind of don't either. Because if
you're not meant to agree with me. That's the point of a debate.
If you're RA'd a player, and that player does, is you don't want him. You don't want him for a reason. And they're not going to pull much value when you're trading them away anyway. So what the hell's the difference? But if that player is a good player and can be a significant piece, well, you can't move him, but you just got another. Let's just say you got R8, a really good goalie, and Snoopy's your owner, and he's a really good goalie. But you already have a second really good goalie, and you don't need another one. Well, but if this player was really good, then they could become your second goalie, and you could trade away that the second goalie you already have, and fill the need that you have. But the owners aren't creative enough to figure that kind of stuff out. They just want to come to me and cry and say, "Hey, I got a defender. I needed a center instead. But all you gave me is this defender." Well, take this defender and put him into your lineup and move one of the defensemen that you have for the center that you need. There's nothing wrong with that. So instead of crying, look for the alternative. And I totally understand. And listen, it's eventually going to change. But I'm telling you, the reason why is because it got so bad 3 seasons ago that we needed to do this to stop what was happening. And maybe, just maybe, if Fred was a late sign-up and knew he couldn't change teams, he'd play and try and play hard for the team that he was stuck with.
Fred.
He would retire.
He might retire, but then he would get blacklisted, so that would be fun.
Yeah, and then that hurt, and then we go into a different topic where that hurts the girl.
Yeah. All I'm saying is, and there are some players, and I can't think of them off the top of my head right now, that are playing for teams that maybe they normally wouldn't play for if they weren't forced to stay there.
Are you talking about my team?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not talking about anybody specifically. But I know that there are players that were randomly assigned or bid on that would never stay on the teams that they were assigned to or bid on by if they could get out of it. But they're playing for them, and they're playing well.
Black wants you to stop yelling, Zenon.
Well, okay. I'll stop.
Is that it? Is that your closing argument?
I'm done.
All right. I will say, in the great words of Tank, this is not LG. This is IOHL. Let's not try to be like LG. Let's be IOHL. That's my closing. That's it. All right. Wow, that was fucking heated. Oh my god, I'm fucking sweating. Zenon's got me with a semi. Bacon. Dose. My apologies. You guys have been quiet. I'll get Dose first. Who do you think was right? You don't have to explain it in detail. I think that's been enough. I think we've done enough explaining. But who do you agree with, me or Zenon?
Well, first off, I just want to say I'm a tad bit disappointed because you guys didn't swear at each other once in this quote-unquote drunk heated debate.
No, because we jerk each other off when the cameras are off.
Oh, okay. But, you still got to put on the appearance. If you advertise drunk heated debate, I expect some swear words like, you fucker, and, but anyway.
I don't think we advertise that. I think we're trying to keep it completely possible. But all right, go ahead.
That could come out of Cobra, but I don't handle myself that way. You know better than that.
Fuck you, Zenon. All right, you happy? You fucking happy?
So for me personally, I see both sides of the argument, and I actually think there were certain points in each part of the argument that I agreed with more.
Motherfucker, agree with one and get
on. But I think I agreed more with Cobra's points strictly because if people are bitching about it, like owners and stuff, let them dig their own grave is how I view it. You know, if they want to bitch about it and they're stupid enough to vote to release this, you know, I'll call it RA trapment. You know, if they're stupid enough to vote to do away with that, and then they wonder why they're trading this RA player that they think is a scrub and he turns out to be, you know, the shit to, you know, a top team already, that's their own fault. You know, they didn't look into him, you know, but I will say the RA guy shouldn't have the ability to request a trade. It would just be the owner could trade him away if he wanted. And I don't know if that's what it is now because I was a little confused at the beginning.
That's pretty much what it is now. Yeah, that's 100% what it is now, plus the fact that they can't trade RAs or bid it on players.
Yeah, see, I think that the owner should be able to trade those guys, but they shouldn't be. Those guys couldn't request a trade. You know, if the owner's stupid enough to not want that person on their team and they're supposedly that good, then I think that's their own fault, and you know they dug their own grave by allowing the trade in the first place.
Fred didn't have a trade request, and he ended up on the team he wanted.
Well, yeah, sometimes it's just sheer dumb luck, you know.
Nah, there was no luck in it.
Stupid. Fucking Zenon, one great point earlier when we were calling him out for it when he brought it up in the pit is that he requested
when is it my turn?
Trade. No, it wasn't like official, but his owner jumped the gun, traded him for nothing. Which I even told. I went to his owner after, like, that's what you trade for? I was like, oh, fucking retard, and then quits a week later. That's just stupid ownership. That's not on the league. That's just the fact that the owner's fucking stupid. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it.
Okay, is it my turn yet?
Yes, Bacon, it is your turn, sir. Jump in as an owner.
All right. Okay, as an owner, I agree with Cobra. I just want to say one thing, though. I think you shouldn't be able to skip your pick.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Give him a random player.
Yeah, you shouldn't be able to save money or whatnot, right?
Yeah, I agree with that.
So they can save cap to get their player they want to get when there's RA bidding, right? But anyhow, okay, let's go. It's getting late.
Yeah, we're about to. All right, so no owners have chimed in the owners' room, which is unfortunate. But all right,
they're all tired of it.
Yeah, they're all tired. Like fucking half of them left already. There's like 4 viewers. Like, fuck, are these guys ever gonna shut the fuck up? I've had a great time. I'm almost done my bottle of Captain Morgan. It's delicious. If you guys ever go to the fucking alcohol store, get Captain Morgan's original spice rum. The shit is fucking awesome. And are you ever gonna send me that rum there, Zedin? Is that ever gonna happen?
Not.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Nah, I don't want to get arrested.
They actually have like a version. They had like 3 or 4 different versions of Captain Morgan. But I knew if I would have came back with all of them, my girlfriend probably would have killed me, like she did. Like she bitched at me last week for bringing back 2 different bottles. Because my girlfriend wants it safe. But yeah, fucking this shit's pretty good. Fucking A. Dos. Sorry, my apologies. Thank you for being on the podcast, man. I really appreciate everything that you have said, your power rankings. I appreciate it. I hope next week you join us as well with a little liquor in you. I think you need a little liquor.
Wait, is it over already?
I think we're wrapping it up. I don't have anything else to talk about unless you guys have anything else to add to it.
I will say this: I wouldn't call it a power rankings because I don't want Petrie and Jets fan coming after me because they think I stole their thing. You know,
that's the one thing we couldn't talk about their power rankings, which is one thing I look forward to because, like, I understand he likes to try to coddle each owner's nuts by not saying too much bad things about them. All right, Swizzy says Cobra let bidded players and RAs be traded. All right, Zenon, that's 3-0, sir.
That's okay. You don't have the power to do it anyway, so.
I have the power to call an owner's vote. Fucking Viva la Revolution, sir. I'll fucking do it. I'm drunk. Maybe.
Have fun with that.
I know, right? Kidney at the end of the day has like the last say and shit. It's been a great podcast. I enjoy having you guys on.
Hey.
What?
Kidney's my boy, man. Kidney's my boy.
Sorry. Kidney's your boy. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Kidney's all of our boy.
Bad to say about Kidney. I know the Kidney is awesome. He is the glue that holds this league together, although a lot of people don't see it. The fact that he was on vacation last week and he's not on this week, we saw a major difference in terms of how everything get handled. That's not trying to discredit Zendin or anyone else. He helps out a lot in the league, so I have nothing bad to say about Kidney. Although he did kick me. He did kick me out of the chat as I was chirping his owner for trying to call a forfeit. Fuck you, Toronto. Fuck you.
I would have kicked you too if I was paying attention.
Yeah, but see, that makes no sense because the one thing I realized at the end of the day was I've gone at it with Big Wet May. I've gone at it with Boston Fan. I've gone at it with I think there was someone else. But then as soon as I go at it with the Toronto owner, I get kicked.
Oh, good. You picked on the wrong guy.
Who's on Toronto? Who was on Toronto, sir?
You picked on the wrong guy.
Apparently so. Apparently so.
Oshie, that's who's on Toronto.
Yeah, that's who's on. That's an inside joke between me and Zen.
All right, carry on.
All right, Doss. Like I said, I hope to see you back on the podcast next week. Dose.
Yeah,
sorry.
Uno.
It's all good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. And anytime I'm available or around and we're doing the podcast, I'll definitely be back on. And even if I can't be back on,
we usually do them on. Sorry.
I was gonna say, even if I can't be on, I'll at least try to get my my weekly standings breakdown done, and you guys can go through it and look at it.
No, we want you on. We want the ums. We need the fucking ums.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, like, if for whatever reason, like, say for example, this week it was on Saturday and I had that wedding, you know, I can send that in. You guys can break it down if I can't be there.
How many weddings do you have?
Nobody can break it down like you.
I got one. I got one. There's an for you. Tomorrow, December, and throw in a third one there for you. A fourth one in June. So I actually have like 5 weddings in the next 6 months.
You know what solves that problem? Alcohol.
Knowing what I'm... Alcohol?
No, alcohol. Yeah. Alcohol, you just shoot through everything, dude. There's no
alcohol?
You just...
Is that what you Canadians call it? Alcohol? I
there's
know some language, you know.
Go fuck yourself, right? I'm not exactly at my... Whatever.
I'm the only Canadian in here.
Yeah, Bacon decided to drink Crown Royal. We never talked about what Bacon is. He sends us a picture. He's like, guys, I'm drinking Crown Royal. Like you're trying to outdo us all, like showing us like you're a boss or something. How's
I had some beers, but I didn't have any liquor today. So
I've had a couple Coronas, couple Crown Royals. You know,
the only thing lighter than Corona is Mike's Hard.
Mike's Hard, indeed.
You don't even want to know what we pay for Corona in Canada.
A fucking...
What, 6 loonies?
No, it's $18, man. It's expensive.
You guys and your Monopoly money?
Hey,
yeah.
Did you know that our money smells like maple?
No, it doesn't. I'm Canadian. It doesn't smell like maple.
It's because your hands are still sticky from your morning pancakes and bacon.
Yo, there is nothing wrong with bacon in the morning. Now you're just insulting our culture.
No, I love bacon in the morning. I'm implying why your money smells like maple syrup. You know, that's all.
But see, the whole criticism behind like Canadian bacon is not even like 90% of fucking Canada has bacon exactly like America. It's the fucking Newfies. The Newfies have this fucking this certain type of bacon, and I'm not going to try to pronounce the word because I'll sound retarded, but they have their own type of bacon and shit. It looks round. It looks like ham and shit. That's not us. I'm from Toronto. Our bacon looks like yours. Stop fucking being an asshole to us. Thank you.
Well, as long as it smells like bacon and not like your city, you know, you're all good.
What's wrong with the smell of Toronto? Like, you've been here. Have you been to Toronto?
I've been there twice, and both times it smelled like a homeless person shit in every street. Like, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just a bad couple of visits, but I just was not used to that. So,
bro, that's the appeal of our city. All right, you come here, you smell great shit. That's
so you're saying people love Toronto because it makes them realize how much they really enjoy being in their hometown.
You know what, man? I traveled through all of fucking Canada a couple months ago. Not all of it. The only place I didn't go to I went as far as Calgary, straight to Ontario.
I didn't come to Vancouver?
No, I have not, but I know there's a lot of riots there, so I was scared. I've been, from Calgary to fucking Ontario, and I'll tell you right now, and I've been in Winnipeg, I've been in all the major cities. Toronto is definitely by far the best city. I've been in Montreal and Ottawa as well, but I just find Toronto and Ontario to be probably the best province in Ontario. So the fact that you're talking shit on it, sir, I think
I will say this though: Toronto is the only true city in Canada I've been to, other than like I've been to the Falls, but that's not really.
You ever been to Calgary?
You guys
Calgary's
have
like
never been to Vancouver.
Calgary's like 4 blocks. Calgary's like 4 blocks, and that's their fucking city. It's fucking pathetic, dude. I landed there to pick up some fucking equipment for work, and it's like, I don't even know why they call that a city. It should be a fucking town.
Yeah, my cousin's husband is from Calgary originally, and I've never been there, but he says the same thing.
Yeah, it's fucking small as fuck. I went there and I was actually like kind of like I was saddened by how like fucking small it was. I'm like, fuck, this is your city, this is your fucking capital. Like, fuck, this is bad.
I think shit's bigger than that city.
Yeah, pretty. I can't speak to that. Okay. I'll have to believe you when it comes to that one. All right, so we're gonna check out WhatsApp before we end here. There's a bunch of fucking chatter going on in the owner's room. Anything tell you to on the podcast, you don't want to, and he spelled LMFAO wrong. Fuck you, Susie, you're stupid. Unless you guys have anything else to add to the podcast, it's been great. It's been a great time. I'm fucking plastered. I'm gonna go lie down now, probably. Zendon, like always, it's been great to have you on the podcast, sir.
Absolute blast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doss, man, like, keep your shit going, and we'll try. Like I said, we usually do this Saturday. Today we're only doing it today because I can't be around tomorrow, and apparently I'm the fucking figurehead for some fucking odd reason.
Hey.
And you also have a wedding to go to, so it kind of works out. So hopefully we can get you on next week, either Friday or Saturday, whatever works for you. I like having you on. Bacon, you have been an unusual yet welcome surprise to the podcast. I like your contribution to it. You've been great. Your haircut speaks volumes for your ego.
Thank you.
It's
he
great.
He could have just popped in here and said, I agree, disagree to everything we said, and the hair would have just said the rest, and it would have been a successful podcast for him.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. Yo, do you get a lot of chicks with that hair, dude? I imagine you're pulling in some major pussy.
I have a girlfriend.
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
She's not listening. Don't worry.
Yeah, you can tell us.
You can hear everything you're saying. I have kids, man. I'm an old man.
How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
39.
No
39.
Fucking way. Bullshit.
You sound so much younger. You really do. And you look younger, too. There's no way you're 39. How long ago was that picture taken? I'm going to bring that shit up again.
Last year.
No way.
You do not look 39. Give me a second. I'm going to open up this picture again.
My son's 19. He goes to Western University in Washington State in Bellingham there.
All right. I kind of see the white hairs at the bottom. All right.
No, there's no white hair there, dude.
It looks white. I'm zooming on it. Wait, can I zoom in anymore? No, I can't. This is as far as I can get.
I guess if I look really close, I can see some of the bone structure, but like.
Yeah, he's got the age to it. It looks like, now that I look at it, you say, I thought you literally look like you're like 30. Yeah, I don't know. You got
like 33 would have been my guess at most.
I still pick up 25-year-olds.
Go. There you fucking.
It's because of the hair. It's the hair.
It's the fuck. Yeah, dude. The hair is a fucking turn on for sure. All right, guys. Thank you for listening to the IOHL podcast, the Drunken podcast. For the 4 viewers that are left, thank you for staying this whole way through. And I'll let Zendon have the last words.
Peace out, Cub Scouts.
That was so gay.
Well, I figured I started with a yeehaw.